When you start your journey as a self-taught artist, there are so much things to learn, and you still have your daily life going on. Work, school, running errands, be social. But how can you stick to really putting your time and effort into learning something new? How, if life's still happening? Maybe these tips and tricks can help you to juggle both successfully. It's easier to integrate habits into daily life if they fit in with what you're doing. So observe the world around you. Nature, people, buildings. Everything we draw is influenced by the things we see. Lights, shapes, stories. Just keep your eyes open. So my first tip is, break the world around you down to shapes. That sweet little city you have a picture of from your last holiday? Perfect! That selfie of you with your coffee cup? Even better. The park you take your breaks at? Go for it! The more you look, the more easily you can break things down to the shapes they are made up of. So let me walk you through the general idea of deconstructing photos. First, take your horizon if it's a landscape image, since the perspective is dependent on its position. Next, you block out the big shapes. It's not about accuracy, but rather about seeing the big whole form of things. In the second example, you can see how the different shapes influence the feeling. In the foreground, we have a lot of straight lines, in the back they are rounded off, while the clouds form crescents that actually lead the eye around the image. It feels like we are walking down that path to the mountain, passing the village on the way. And the more often you do that, the easier it gets. It teaches you perspective, the way shapes meld into each other if they are far away or closer to each other, the planes things have and how they are connected. You also get a feel of what influences your story, how shapes can underline it and even tell a story themselves. Speaking of your surroundings, have you ever noticed the beautiful colors nature has to offer to us? Starting from the break of dawn to spring leaves, which are saturated green, over to colorful birds in tropical climates. Everything is very bright and saturated. When you just start out with art, you tend to make your colors less vibrant or less saturated just because you are scared. Scared it's too bright, scared it's too vibrant. But what are you afraid of? Nature shows you that it's just right to have a lot of colorful things around you. Nature is colorful and bright. So why mute its beauty by using less saturated, vibrant colors and instead mute them? Make it a habit to really see the colors of your surroundings. See how they play with each other and what nature has to offer. And you can do this while commuting to work, when you're on break in a park, or on the weekends when you go out. Take a walk. And in case you're not so fond of nature, try it with your favorite video game. The understanding of how light and shadow are connected to each other and how midtones play their part can be confusing. But don't be afraid, nature has us covered. Be it landscape pictures or portraits, light and shadow always follow rules and is depending on the way the item or the person are illuminated. And also, they show up in shapes, be it on skin, be it on a tree, or be it on a mountain. It doesn't matter. So we can actually combine shapes and color into it to help us out. But wait, how do I make that a habit now? Easy as pie. Figure out the light source position. And afterwards you can insert the parts where the darkest shadows should be. And keep in mind the material that's being illuminated, because metal behaves different from wood, and so does skin. On a side note, that's because of reflectivity or translucency, but that's a topic for another video. If you don't want to miss out on that, remember to subscribe to my channel. Storytelling. Let's be real here, it's a love-hate relationship. You want to show your character in all its glory and tell his or her story, and then... But how do you even tell a story, and how do you figure their story out? That's a whole skill in and of itself. But you can start easily by visualizing the scene your character is currently moving in. What setting is your character currently in? How does the lighting look? How does the character feel, and how do you transport that to the viewer? Which perspective gives off the feeling that you want? Do you need bird's eye view or a close-up? These are all questions that come up during the creation process. If you have an idea where you want your setting to be, or if you already have the image inside your head, thumbnail it, sketch it, or if you can't, write it down, so it's stored for later. We can also combine it with some other habits, like figuring out how to tell a story due to shapes and lighting, so we have 3 habits in one. Struggling with a proper workflow? It seems like a hassle at first, but maybe take the time to analyze the workflow other people have established and prove to be good for them. Be it speed paints, tutorials, or finished images, you can take some things and apply them to your own. How do they layer? What kind of brushes do they use? Do they start in grayscale or do they use flat colors at first? Do they use alpha lock or a lasso tool? It's all about what works best for you. And if you can't figure it out the first time, it's all about trial and error. Trust me. For a long time I decided to make a mountain of layers, and in the end I just had really big files and a lot of layers that nothing happened on. But in the end it's all about the learning process, so every step brings you a little bit more close to your goal, or you realize, well, that's not for me, maybe I should try something different. And here's a bonus tip on the workflow matter. Starting off with a mind map to collect ideas that are included in the theme you decided on can help sort your idea better. That can mean anything, starting from the scene over the time and mood up to the character's individual looks or traits. Let me give you an example. What comes to your mind when you think of summer? Heat, sun, flowers, beach, ice cream, barbecue, fireworks, vacation. You get the idea. Those are just examples, but they can improve your visualizing skill tremendously if you do it on a regular basis. It gives structure to the creative process. And the best part is, you can do it no matter where you are. Either with a pen and paper or on your phone or tablet with websites like Miro or software like Notion or Millernote. After organizing, you can pick your poison and take the ones you like best and see if it works. You don't need to implement every single habit I showed you today, but if you can take one or the other and incorporate them in your daily life, you will see how much it brings you forward in the long run. It's all about filling your toolkit and gaining more knowledge to improve your virtues after all. If you yourself have a habit that's missing here and might be helpful to others, feel free to leave it in the comments below. As always, stay happy and creative. Until next time.